Girl throws gift in trash, and mom uses a plastic bag to teach her gratitude. It started on the first day of school. My daughter Lena wore her little blue dress and had that giant pink bow she insisted on. She looked adorable, beaming with her sparkly sandals and her new backpack that Grandma had picked out. That was the problem, apparently. When I picked her up that afternoon, she was quiet, not her usual bouncy, chatty self. I figured she was just tired, but when I got home and checked her bag, I noticed it was empty. No lunchbox, no folder, nothing. Then I saw it in the kitchen, trash her brand new backpack shoved deep under banana, peels, and a wet paper towel, still zipped, still clean. When I asked her what happened, she mumbled something about it being ugly and how other kids had cooler ones, that Grandma's gift had embarrassed her. I didn't yell. I didn't punish Dot. Instead, I walked to the cabinet under the sink and pulled out a thin plastic grocery bag, the kind we use for dirty socks when we forget the gym bag. I handed it to her. "This is your new backpack," I said. Her eyes went wide. "What? No, that's not fair." I nodded. "You threw away something new and special just because it wasn't trendy. So until you can show some gratitude, this is what you'll use." She cried, begged, even tried hugging me into changing my mind, but I stood firm. The next morning, I packed her lunch, her pencils, and her folder in that crinkly plastic bag. She clutched it like it was a bag of trash. I kissed her on the forehead, smiled, and reminded her that real beauty starts in the heart. When I picked her up, her face was red. She didn't speak for the whole car ride. That night at dinner, she barely touched her food. Her older brother, Nolan, tried to break the tension with a joke. "Hey, Lane, was your bag the loudest thing in class when you sat down?" She didn't laugh. She looked like she wanted to disappear. I knew it hurt. That was the point, in a way not to humiliate her, but to help her understand what wastefulness and vanity could cost. The next morning, she didn't complain when I handed her the plastic bag again. She just took it and walked out the door. I could see her shoulders curled in like she was trying to shrink. It went on for 3 days. Then, on the 4th, something shifted. She came home and quietly sat at the kitchen table. I was chopping carrots. She placed the crinkled plastic bag beside her and looked at me with tear-glossed eyes. "Can I say sorry to Grandma?" I turned to her, gently set down the knife, and wiped my hands. "Of course, sweetheart," she nodded. "Can I write her a letter? And maybe if she wants, we can go visit her this weekend." I pulled her into a hug. She'd love that. We wrote the letter together. Leanna asked me to help her spell some words, like embarrassed and regret. She even drew a picture of her wearing the blue dress and the pink bow, with her arms wrapped around Grandma. She wrote, "I love you more than I can say," in big, uneven letters across the top dot. The weekend visit to Grandma's was emotional. Laina clutched the letter the entire ride there. When we got to the porch, she didn't wait. She ran to Grandma and hugged her tight, burying her face in her belly. "I'm sorry I didn't like the backpack," she mumbled. "I didn't mean to hurt your feelings." Grandma looked confused at first, then emotional. She held Laina's face in her hands and smiled through teary eyes. "Oh, baby. I just wanted you to have something pretty and special. You didn't hurt me, you just made me worry I didn't know you anymore." Laina gave her the letter. Grandma read it slowly, smiling through tears. Then she said, "Well, how about we go pick out a backpack together? One that's a mix of what you love and what I love too." They went the next day. I tagged along, but let them take the lead. In the end, they found a backpack that had pastel dinosaurs on it. It wasn't anything like what other girls at school had, but it had glitter on the zippers and a little stuffed dino keychain. Lena loved it. Grandma smiled proudly as she paid for it. That seemed like the end of it. A little lesson in kindness, humility, and family. But life had more to teach us. A few weeks later, I got a call from the school. Laina had stood up to a group of kids picking on a boy named Micah. Apparently, Micah came to school with all his supplies and you guessed it, a plastic bag. His family was going through a rough time. The kids had laughed, called him Trash Boy. But Laina stood up, slammed her desk, and told them all to shut it. Then she walked over, sat beside Micah, and pulled out her lunch to share. I found this out from the principal, who called to thank me. She said she used a plastic bag once too, the principal said, chuckling gently. Said it taught her to see the person, not the package. I was speechless. That evening, I asked Laina about it while I was folding laundry. She shrugged. I remember how it felt, how I wanted to hide, and he looked like he felt the same. So I just remembered. I hugged her tighter than she probably wanted at that age, but I couldn't help it. From then on, Laina and Micah were inseparable. She even invited him to her birthday party, where she asked guests to bring school supplies instead of gifts. We filled 3 boxes and donated them all. It didn't stop there. At the end of the school year, Laina asked if she could spend her allowance on little lunch kits for kids who forgot theirs. She said, "I don't want anyone to feel empty-handed." I watched her grow that summer, not just taller, but deeper, more aware, more giving. Sometimes the smallest act of correction, 1 plastic bag. A choice not to yell, but to teach blooms into something bigger than you could imagine. Years passed. Laina kept that dinosaur backpack until middle school. She mended it with patches, decorated it with pins. It became her trademark. Even when other kids upgraded, she didn't. In 8th grade, during a school assembly, she was awarded a certificate for compassionate leadership. She got a standing ovation after she gave a short speech. She mentioned the backpack, she mentioned Micah, and she mentioned me. She showed me how not to throw people away the way I threw away that gift, she said. She taught me that being different isn't bad, it's brave. After the assembly, a woman approached me. Her son had been in Laina's class years ago. "Your daughter was the first person who talked to him after we moved here. He had speech issues and kids avoided him. She walked up with a cookie and said, 'You don't have to talk if you don't want to. We can just eat cookies.' That changed everything." That night, I sat with an old photo of Laina in her blue dress and pink bow, and I wept. We never know which small moment will ripple into something lasting. In high school, Laina joined a volunteer group that delivered meals to families in temporary housing. She told me it made her feel like she was packing kindness into bags, like a reverse version of that first day, senior year. She wrote her college essay about that plastic bag, the title, "The Backpack I Deserved." It made me cry. She got into her top choice. Years later, when she moved into her college dorm, she carried one thing by hand, not packed in any box. That dinosaur backpack, worn, faded, but still hers. She hung it on a hook by the door. "It reminds me," she said, "of what matters." I still think about that trash can moment. How one careless act turned into a lifelong shift. How refusing to punish and choosing to teach instead gave her the space to grow, not shrink. We want to shield our kids from hurt, from embarrassment, from lessons learned the hard way. But sometimes, a bit of discomfort is the soil in which empathy grows. And sometimes, a plastic bag can carry more than books. It can carry change. If this story moved you, please like and share it. Maybe someone else out there needs a reminder that even the smallest lesson can bloom into something beautiful. Because gratitude isn't taught by words. It's taught by how we respond to the trash we find and what we choose to do with it